the lobby of the theater for your comfort and convenience. Please, at this time, turn off your cell phones and pagers so that they will not interfere or disrupt this program. We welcome your attendance at this event and look forward to seeing you again.
Good morning. I'm Dr. Matt Ravenscroft, principal of Kaiser High School, and it is my honor to welcome you to the 80th Jonah Edward Kelley Award Ceremony at Church McKee Arts Center on the campus of Potomac State College. We're here today to honor the memory and sacrifice of KHS alumnus Jonah Edward Kelley and to bestow one of our seniors, Daniel Shoemaker, Ian Spiker, or Ashton Youngblood, with an award in his namesake. This morning, we'll hear about his sacrifice in Europe during World War II, but like thousands of other GIs, Jonah Edward Kelley was a high school student like you not long before he died serving our country. However, unlike his peers, when the opportunity came to be a selfless leader and do what was right and necessary to save others, he seized the opportunity to lead. One theme that will be evident from his life as a son, brother, student, Christian, athlete, and soldier is his leadership. It was not born out of a desire for recognition or glory, but from a deep sense of duty and responsibility to his fellow soldiers. He understood that true leadership is not about rank or authority, but about service and sacrifice. Those traits can be seen in our 3 nominees this year. Jonah's actions on the battlefield serve as a reminder that leadership is not confined to the halls of power or the boardrooms of corporations. It can be found in the most unlikely of places, among ordinary individuals thrust into extraordinary circumstances. Leadership is sacrificial, it always does what is right, and it moves and impacts others to do the same. Selfless leadership improves families, schools, businesses, churches, and entire communities. Staff Sergeant Jonah Edward Kelley, Kaiser High School class of 1941, was a leader. Representing the West Virginia Army National Guard, Sergeants First Class Travis Orange, Ryan Hotchkiss, and Jordan Perano, and Sergeant Nathan Miley will now present our colors, followed by the national anthem from our KHS concert band and Pledge of Allegiance by KHS senior Claire Reel. Please stand.
Everyone please remain standing for the saying of the Pledge of Allegiance. And please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
The Medal of Honor represents what the country has always stood for: sacrifice.
My name's on the back of it, but it doesn't mean it belongs to me.
I'm just a caretaker.
It didn't matter where you were from or who you were. We looked out for one another.
I felt this is what a soldier's supposed to do, and I still feel that way.
But this medal's not mine.
It belongs to those kids who never grew up to be grandfathers.
I just hold it in trust.
These words, spoken by past Medal of Honor recipients, give us an idea of the selflessness and sacrifice that Kaiser native Jonah Edward Kelley displayed for his country.
Because Ed Kelley lost his life in Kesternick, Germany, we hold his medal in trust.
For 80 years, Kaiser High School and the Kelley Society have honored not only the life of Sergeant Jonah Edward Kelley, but 3 young men who display the same characteristics as well as his passion for life.
It is no coincidence that we come together today to honor all who have contributed to the safety and security that most of us take for granted every day. We also come together close to Ed Kelley's birthday every year to memorialize a man who never gave up and showed great courage in the odds of challenging adversity.
Veteran broadcaster Paul Harvey said that one of the most tangible symbols of sacrifice, representing the ultimate offering of one's life for another, is the Congressional Medal of Honor.
In 1861, Abraham Lincoln signed into law the awarding of this medal as the nation's highest and rarest military honor.
There are a little more than 3,500 Americans who wear this hallowed emblem.
Jonah Edward Kelley of Kaiser, West Virginia, received the Congressional Medal of Honor for gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his own life posthumously.
Here is a short biography of Jonah Edward Kelley's life and his contributions to not only Kaiser High School, but to our community, our country, and our world.
Shortly after 9:00 a.m. on Friday, April 13, 1923, Ed arrived into the world while a lashing storm raged all day and into the night.
Ed was a model baby with a cheerful disposition, which was later to become a trademark of his developing personality. He was a fat, healthy baby and learned to walk by the time he was 10 months old.
The Kelley family moved to Kaiser in 1927. Ed learned to be a respectful child, not only to his parents, but those around him. Some of Ed's chores included looking after his grandmother's needs as well as his family's. He went shopping for his grandmother, carried her coal and wood, and stayed with her when she was sick.
Ed learned to scrub kitchens and clean house, just like his 2 sisters, but soon surpassed them in the cooking department. He became quite a little chef, making cakes, pies, and candy, and even canning fruit preserves. Ed's consuming passion for rhubarb came from a patch he gardened in his Water Street home. His homemade cookies undoubtedly enhanced his popularity at school.
Also, Ed learned to find food in the mountains, which became his chief playground. He knew every hill and dale of New Creek Mountain and loved to chew the roots of birch and sassafras, pick wild berries, and fish. Ed and his friends would fish in New Creek, catching worms with electric poles. They hooked an extension cord to an iron pole stuck into the ground. When the juice was turned on, the worms popped out of the ground. In addition to fishing, Ed enjoyed swimming in Patterson's Creek.
Ed joined the Methodist Youth Fellowship in the Boy Scouts of America. Ed learned to face situations head-on, turning defeat into victory. Ed was promoted to patrol leader for the Boy Scouts and became the idol of his troop. He did everything with a purpose, and that purpose was to excel, and to set an example for the younger boys. Ed climbed Queens Point many times, taking his scout troop there as well as church groups on special outings.
Ed's high school days were happy ones. He played left end on the football team for 3 years. Both of the coaches who Ed played for considered Ed to be one of their most valuable players. During his junior year, Ed worked in the school office running errands, answering telephones, or doing odd jobs whenever he had an hour or two of free time. He worked on a volunteer basis and was a joy to have around.
Ed graduated from Kaiser High School in June 1941. Each member of Ed's class was asked to give some brief statement to be printed next to his or her picture in the yearbook. Ed wrote, quote, "Today, I am a man," end quote. Ed made immediate plans to enter Potomac State College that fall and landed himself a summer job at the Celanese plant in nearby Cumberland.
That fall, Ed entered Potomac State College and plunged into a busy schedule of classes and football. Ed was in a rage to go into service like the older boys, but had to wait until he was called. Ed wanted to be a Marine, but when he took his physical exam for the Marine Corps, they told him he had a form of colorblindness and turned him down.
It was a full year after Pearl Harbor when Ed received his pre-induction physical notice from the county health office at the Kaiser Courthouse. The letter was dated December 7, 1942, and instructed him to report on December 15th at 9 a.m. for his physical for the Army. He passed with flying colors and his eyes checked out normally.
On February 17, 1943, his draft notice came, quote, "Greeting. Having submitting yourself to a local board composed of your neighbors for the purpose of determining your availability for training and service in the armed forces of the United States, you are hereby notified," end quote.
A farewell party was arranged for Ed at his family's new home on Orchard Street. From the attendance of family and friends, the message became clear enough. Ed was their brightest hope and their proven leader. They wanted him to understand what his mission meant to them, and they, of course, wanted to bless his going.
On March 16, 1943, Ed reported to Fort Hays with his detachment of 62 raw recruits. He was launched almost immediately into a rigorous training program in the field and on the firing range. He was assigned to Company E, 1st Platoon, 311th Infantry Regiment, and was to remain with E Company for the rest of his life.
Basic training was over at Camp Butner, and on the 1st of April, 1944, the Lightning Division moved to Camp Pickett, about 200 miles from Ed's home. Ed was considered vital to the training program at Pickett, and one of his privileges as a drill sergeant was a private room in the barracks, but he rejected it, not wanting to appear better off than his own men.
Orders were received from the War Department for the Lightning Division to go overseas at last. On October 13, 1944, the Lightning Division was ordered to embark. Ed's ship arrived at Southampton, England on October 25, 1944.
On December 9th, Ed received orders to cross over into Germany. During the month of December, one German officer and 33 enlisted men were taken prisoner by night patrol teams of the 311th Infantry.
Although the 3 battalions of the Lightning Division tried to take over the village of Kesternick soon after, They were forced to withdraw until the end of January 1945. Ed Kelley's Medal of Honor citation tells the story of what happened on those fateful days.
Ed Kelley's Medal of Honor citation reads, Staff Sergeant Jonah Edward Kelley, 311th Infantry Regiment, displayed conspicuous gallantry in action on 30-31 January 1945 at Kesternick, Germany. In charge of the leading squad of Company E, he heroically spearheaded the attack and furious house-to-house fighting.
Early on 30 January, he led his men through intense mortar and small arms fire and repeated assaults on barricaded houses. Although twice wounded, once when struck in the back, the second time when a mortar shell fragment passed through his left hand and rendered it practically useless, he refused to withdraw and continued to lead his squad after hasty dressings had been applied.
His serious wounds forced him to fire his rifle with one hand, resting it on rubble or over his left forearm. To blast his way forward with the hand grenades, he set aside his rifle to pull the pins with his teeth, while grasping the missiles with his good hand. Despite his handicaps, he created tremendous havoc in the enemy ranks. He rushed one house, killing 3 of the enemy and clearing the way for his squad to advance. On approaching the next house, he was fired upon from an upstairs window. He killed the sniper with a single shot and similarly accounted for another enemy soldier who ran from the cellar of the house.
As darkness came, he assigned his men to defensive positions, never leaving them to seek medical attention. At dawn the next day, the squad resumed the attack, advancing to a point where heavy automatic and small arms fire stalled them. Despite his wounds, Sergeant Kelley moved out alone, located an enemy gunner dug in under a haystack, and killed him with rifle fire. He returned to his men and found that a German machine gun from a well-protected position in a neighboring house still held up the advance.
Ordering the squad to remain in comparatively safe positions, he valiantly dashed into the open and attacked the position single-handedly through a hail of bullets. He was hit several times and fell to his knees when within 25 yards of his objective. He summoned his waning strength and emptied his rifle into the machine gun nest, silencing the weapon before he died.
The superb courage, aggressiveness, and utter disregard for his own safety displayed by Sergeant Kelley inspired the men he led and enabled them to penetrate the last line of defense held by the enemy in the village of Kesternick.
The men whom Jonah Edward Kelley inspired who survived World War II, members of the 78th Lightning Division, have traveled from all over the United States to help us honor him every year since this program began. In this part of our program, we always recognize them for never forgetting the dear price their staff sergeant paid, a price they too were willing to pay.
Even though none of these men or their families were able to attend today, we would like to hold a moment of silence for not only their memories, but also to honor the love and sacrifice each of these men gave to their country.
Later in the program, when the roll call is read, there are 43 names, all former Kaiser High School students who have given their lives to their country during World War II. This is an unusually high number for a community of our size. Let's also remember them in our moment of silence.
Reserved, retired, and newly enlisted personnel in the armed service, please rise. It is not too late for all of us who love America to say thank you to the dedicated men and women who fought for all of us. Their legacy of strength and tremendous courage will live on for generations to come. Your service and sacrifice for the preservation of our country is why we enjoy the privileges and rights of our American freedom and liberty. Let us show our appreciation for these men and women. Thank you.
Every year, we celebrate Jonah Edward Kelley's legacy to us with 3 young men and over 100 predecessors who wear the medallion and stand with pride because they are a part of the most sacred and privileged membership in the Kelley Society. Would all past candidates and winners please rise? Since 1946, 80 years ago, we were lucky enough to have young men represent all aspects of Jonah Edward Kelley. Kaiser High School and our community are so grateful that you continue to keep the memory of Ed Kelley alive. Let us extend our pride and appreciation. Thank you.
Today, we honor 3 young men who held the ideals and qualities that Staff Sergeant Jonah Edward Kelley possessed. The winner, like Ed Kelley, has to be an all-around American boy, scholar, and athlete. He is also expected to excel in scholastic standing, where the young man must display at least a 2.0 grade point average.
Nominees must be eligible for sports 3 of the 4 years at Kaiser High School by participating in either football or basketball in grades 10 through 12. These 2 sports are identified because Ed Kelley participated in these sports while attending our high school.
Other areas that are considered in the candidates and ultimately the winner are citizenship, morals, sportsmanship, church attendance, community and country loyalty, integrity, sobriety, and the observance of the law. The young man must display leadership and patriotism. Moreover, the candidate should demonstrate courtesy and be sincere in his work. After writing an essay and submitting it, the winner is then selected by a special anonymous committee. Let us review our candidates before the winner is announced.
As you view our screen, you will see our first nominee, Daniel William Shoemaker. Daniel's parents are Destiny Shoemaker and Corey Burns. He holds a cumulative grade point average of 3.85. Daniel participated in football and wrestling all 4 years at Kaiser High School. He was the captain of the football team in his senior year. Daniel won the National Guard Leadership Award for 2025. Daniel was able to succeed in wrestling with over 100 wins. He became a member of the National Honor Society and attended Mountaineer Boys State in his junior year and is a member of the Student Athlete Leadership Team. Daniel attends the First Baptist Church in Burlington. Daniel's volunteer work includes gathering items for the North Carolina flood victims, Operation Shoebox at his church, and making apple butter at the Burlington Children's Home. Daniel also helped with the youth wrestling tournament. After high school, Daniel would like to attend college and then take over his family's business one day. The 2 people who have inspired Daniel the most are his grandparents. He says that they have always pushed him to be his best.
Our second nominee is Ian Jeffrey Spiker. Ian is the son of Wendy Spiker and the late Jeff Spiker. His cumulative grade point average is 3.7. Ian has been on the basketball team for 4 years and served as captain in his senior year. He also was a manager for the football team for 4 years. The clubs Ian participates in are Key Club, Kaiser Crazies, and Student Council. Ian also worked with the Chick-fil-A Leadership Academy and currently serves as a senior class historian. He has volunteered at Kaiser High School blood drives and craft shows. Ian attends the Believers Fellowship. In the future, Ian hopes to pursue his secondary education at Potomac State College, majoring in physical education. The person who has inspired Ian the most is his mother, Wendy Spiker. He admires the strength of her character after losing his dad.
Last but certainly not least, we present our third nominee, Ashton Matthew Youngblood. Ashton's parents are Matthew and Crystal Youngblood. He holds a cumulative grade point average of 3.6. As a freshman, Ashton played basketball for 1 year. In his sophomore year, he ran track. For all 4 years, Ashton has played football and served as team captain in his senior year. Ashton was the winner of Homecoming King this year. As a club member, Ashton belongs to the Student Council and the Kaiser Crazies. In his junior year, Ashton was chosen for Mountaineer Boys State. Ashton's community service includes helping to clean up the plaza, the moving of the courthouse, youth football camp, the football carnival, painting Camp Minko, helping with concessions for youth sports, rebuilding the primary school playground piece, and cleaning up graves for Memorial Day. Ashton attends the Emeryville United Methodist Church. His future goals are employment in the snow sports industry, where he has found his life passion. The person who inspires Ashton the most is his father. Ashton says he has been his coach for many life lessons and works extremely hard to provide for his family.
Through each young man that represents Jonah Edward Kelley and his ideals, Kaiser is very blessed. Each candidate deserves the honor of this award.
Jonah Edward Kelley was an outstanding citizen. He excelled as a scholar and an athlete at Kaiser High School and Potomac State College. He was patriotic, religious, sober, law-abiding, and extremely proud of his community and ultimately his country. He was our hometown hero and the All-American boy.
Current and future generations of Kaiser High School still have so much to learn from the example of Ed Kelley.
We now address the youth in our audience with this anonymous quote. You never truly lead anybody until you learn to serve. You never truly serve anybody until you learn there is something more than yourself. End quote. Kaiser pride should fill your soul when this time comes around each spring. A time to remember and revere Jonah Edward Kelley, the 78th Lightning Division, all those directly associated with the program, and all those who were winners or nominees.
The next time you walk down the front hallway of Kaiser High School and pass by the Legion of Honor display, take a moment to look at Jonah Edward Kelley's picture, his Medal of Honor, and his Purple Heart.
And we should all hold his medal, memory, and legacy in trust.
Good morning. It is my distinct pleasure to come to you today as Kaiser High School's department head for English. Our English department decided to open an essay contest for students in grades 10 through 12. This was a special contest for this year only to commemorate the 80th year of our Jonah Edward Kelley Awards Assembly. The topic of the essay was, "What Ed Kelley and His Legacy Means to Me." Students were to write between 750 to 1,000 words and were judged by the members of the English department on clarity of idea, organization, voice, word choice, sentence fluency, and conventions. The Ed Kelley Society was so gracious in helping fund the money for prizes. Without their help and dedication, this contest would not have happened. Kaiser is grateful to have an organization that cares so deeply for our students and our program each year. Ryan Streets, the president of the Ed Kelley Society, will assist me in handing out certificates and prizes. The English department and Kaiser High School are so proud of our 11 participants this year in the essay contest. We would like to present each of them with a certificate and thank each of them for their inspiring works. As I call each student's name, they will collect their certificate and stand to my right. We will hold applause until all students have been recognized. Grade 11, Cole Cook. Aubrey Fisher, grade 11. One second, Aubrey, I've lost yours. Cole, do you just have one? Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. I've misplaced a certificate. Okay, Aubrey, we may have to wait for you. I'm sorry, hon. Okay, next will be grade 10, and that's Luca Octabello. Grade 10, Carter Eidelman. Grade 10, Naeem Smith. Grade 10, Ansley Friend. Grade 10, Madison Haynes. Grade 10, Ava Barrick. Grade 10, Maya Burgess. Grade 10, Deacon Stanslostic. And our last participant in grade 10 is Haley Haggerty. Let's give them all a round of applause. Now it's time to award first, second, and third place to our essays that best exhibited characteristics mentioned before. Our third place winner is awarded with $100. Our third place winner is Ava Barrick. Second prize receives $250. Our second place winner is Aubrey Fisher. The stipulation for our first prize winner was that they had to read their essay on stage. Congratulations to our first place winner, who will receive $500. Our first place winner is Naeem Smith. thanks again to the Ed Kelley Society for providing the funding to hold this essay contest. Now, for the reading of our winning essay. You guys can go. Thank you.
What Ed Kelley and his legacy means to me. There are moments when uncertainty finds its way in, and the overbearing weight of expectations, failures, and self-criticism makes me question my self-worth. There are also moments of acceptance that help me to persevere and work harder. Jonah Edward Kelley's legacy is not recorded in many headlines or celebrated nationally. It lives in the hidden moments of our integrity and the choices we make when no one is watching. It is the ability to stand up for what is right and the true belief that character matters more than recognition. Ed Kelley is an astonishing role model who shapes the person I strive to be. Ed Kelley, a Kaiser High School alumnus, served as a U.S. Army Staff Sergeant within the Company E 311th Infantry Regiment. On January 30th through 31st, 1945, during World War II, in Krischneck, Germany, Jonah Edward Kelley led multiple attacks against enemy positions. Ed Kelley was then wounded but continued to push forward, thus inspiring his soldiers. His leadership and bravery allowed his unit to advance under enormous gunfire. Ed Kelley sacrificed his life while leading his men, which allowed for the mission's success. His immense courage and selflessness earned him the Medal of Honor. Jonah Edward Kelley's service in our country's military and community shows the importance that Ed Kelley placed on being a good person and maintaining good integrity. Ed Kelley serves as a constant reminder that true leadership involves putting others before myself. So every time I step on the tennis court or place my foot on the line before a wrestling match, I remind myself that I'm a good person before I am a good athlete. Just as Ed Kelley led with integrity and service, I strive to carry those same qualities into every match, every practice, and every moment of life. Although Ed Kelley was awarded the Medal of Honor in 1946, his legacy proves that a good person is not measured by their awards or recognition, but by their character. Ed Kelley did not lead hoping for medals or titles. He led with integrity, courage, and selflessness by putting others before himself into his very last breath. Jonah Edward Kelley's dedication to serving his community has inspired me to make meaningful impact in my own life. My involvement in Kaiser High School Key Club and Student Council helps me to improve the lives of the people in my community and school. I strive to hold a fragment of Ed Kelley's values in leadership and selflessness. One of the most memorable experiences I have had was organizing the tennis court cleanups in joint effort with Student Council. I was able to experience the influence that small acts of service have on the community. These experiences have fortified my belief that leadership is not about titles or recognition, but about uplifting others around me. Ed Kelley led with strong qualities of integrity and selflessness, and I strive to carry his principles into my daily life, whether it is in my community or on the tennis court or even on the mat. Ed Kelley's impact goes far beyond the mountains of Kaiser. His personal sacrifice serves as a monument of courage and selflessness in the duty of war. His actions in World War II showed the patriotic conclusion to many American soldiers, thus reinforcing the dedicated support given by our military. As conflicts continue to increase within Ukraine and the Middle East, American soldiers still demonstrate the same spirit of duty and the perseverance held by Ed Kelley. His story reminds us that leadership is standing up for what is right even when faced with adversity. In modern times, all people, regardless of race, gender, or the country of origin, need to understand what soldiers like Ed Kelley sacrifice for our country and carry the same qualities of bravery and integrity. Ed Kelley's legacy should continue to inspire individuals to serve their countries and communities. Jonah Edward Kelley never looked for recognition. He did what was right in the given moment, putting others before himself. His legacy is not about a story from a Kaiser native, but an incentive for many today. We live in a world where many seek personal gain instead of service, but his legacy reminds us that true goodness comes from character, not accomplishments. As former President John F. Kennedy once said, quote, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country," end quote. Ed Kelley lived by these words long before they were ever spoken, proving that true greatness is about sacrifice, duty, and service to others. Now it is your turn. We can honor Ed Kelley's legacy by standing up for what is right and giving back to our community. Step up as a leader in your school or even your sports team. Defend what is right despite its difficulty. Honor Ed Kelley, not just with your words, but through your actions. Thank you.
is my honor to introduce the guests of the 80th J. Edward Kelley Award Ceremony, starting with our three nominees and their guests. Supporting Daniel Shoemaker are William Shoemaker, his grandfather, grandmother Della Shoemaker, sister Truly Burns, great-aunt Wendy Singleton, mother Destiny Shoemaker, mother's friend Cody Rodehaver, dad Corey Burns, great-uncle John Burns, great-aunt Joyce Burns, grandfather Garland Ebert, grandmother Cindy Ebert, great-grandmother Beverly Cannon, father Brian Taylor, and girlfriend Danielle Timberlake. Supporting Ian Spiker are his mom Wendy Spiker, grandparents Steve Parrish and Sandy Parrish, aunt Stephanie Shank, cousins Chase Davis and Hannah Davis, cousins Rachel U. Rice, Rooney U. Rice, and Caden U. Rice, girlfriend Jaden Gwynn, pastor Randy Crow, cousins Heather Powell and Anne Marie Powell, grandfather Jim Spiker, uncle Eric Spiker, cousins Michaelan Spiker and Mackenzie Spiker, uncle Chris Shank, and uncle Don Gordon. And finally, supporting Ashton Youngblood, we have his father Matthew Youngblood, mother Crystal Youngblood, grandmother Ded Pennington, grandfather Thomas Youngblood, brother Caden Youngblood, great-aunt and uncle Haas and Donna Pennington. We have with us today the president of the Kelley Society, Mr. Ryan Streets. And members of the Kelley Society from 1952, Jennings Stickley, from 1961, James Currier, from 1964, Woody Kessiker, 1967, Larry Taylor, 1974, Robert McDonald, 1975, Robert Eagle, from 1978, Tim Schwanebart and Randy Cirillo, 1979, Clay Sprouse, 1983, Scott Robaugh, 1985, Jeffrey Staggers, Logan Roadtruck, and Drew Matlick. Representing the Loyal Order of the Moose and presenting the award today, Miss Tina Stephen. Representing U.S. Senator Capito's office, Chris Strovel. Mineral County Commissioners Dutch Staggs and Roger Leatherman. Representing the Governor's office, Pam Krushansky. Superintendent of Mineral County Schools, Mr. Troy Ravenscroft. Board of Education member, Dr. Tom Denny. KHS Assistant Principals, Mrs. Christine Droppelman and Mrs. Alicia Dupuy. And as always, we'd like to thank and welcome the staff and students of Kaiser High School. Time is a thief, and unfortunately, we will have no representatives from the 78th Lightning, Ed Kelley's band of brothers, here again this year. 26 years ago, when I was a student at Kaiser High School, this front section would have been packed with members of the 78th who traveled from over 30 states to honor their comrade. They supported this cause monetarily and attended the ceremony faithfully because they knew how important Staff Sergeant Kelley was to their very existence. We know of one member of the 78th Lightning who is still with us, Stuart Brandow of Woodbridge, New Jersey. Stu attended until last year when his health would no longer allow him to travel. He's 100 years old, and we wish him well as he watches from afar. We knew this time would come. It doesn't stop, and it's an unfortunate reality that we no longer have those men with us in attendance for this ceremony. And now to say a few short words from the representing U.S. Representative Moore's office, Rhett Dusenberry.
Thank you, Dr. Ravenscroft, for that kind introduction. My name is Rhett Dusenberry. I'm an area representative for Congressman Riley Moore of the 2nd Congressional District of the state of West Virginia, our congressman. Thank you for allowing me to extend his remarks. You were speaking of the past members of the Lightning. They're here with us today, guaranteed. But I'm going to just pass on a congratulations to all the past winners of that Kelley Award and also the nominees for this year. And also just remember, because of these gentlemen like Sergeant Kelley and all the other veterans, we enjoy today and our freedoms and all of our rights. So on behalf of Congressman Moore, he apologizes for not being able to be here today, but he sends his best wishes, greetings, and also looks forward to seeing each and every one of you. There were a few points that he wanted me to make today, and it's just a little bit of information when we're talking about the Congressional Medal of Honor winners. To quote some studies done of Medal of Honor recipients to see what character traits they have in common, an overwhelming number were found to be high in risk-taking, emotional connection, self-regulation, cooperation, perseverance, and humility. And we've also heard from these other award winners here of character and courage. But the main point that he wanted to relay was, may we all take inspiration from this day to expand our own capacity for these virtues. So thank you again to all the members of the society, the students, the citizens of Kaiser, for allowing me to relay these remarks for Congressman Moore.
Thank you, sir. And now it is my honor to introduce our speaker for this morning's ceremony, Commander Matthew O'Hara. Commander O'Hara grew up in Kaiser, West Virginia, graduated from Kaiser High School in 1998. He honorably retired from naval service in 2023 after 25 years of military service. Post-retirement, he has held jobs within the Defense Threat Reduction Agency and the Missile Defense Agency. Commander O'Hara graduated from the United States Naval Academy in 2002 with an Aerospace Engineering BS and Naval Postgraduate School in 2008 with a Computer Science Master of Science. Originally a naval aviator, he was selected for redesignation to Information Professional in 2005. He earned the Information Dominance Warfare qualification in 2010. He has been awarded the Defense Meritorious Service Medal with 2 oak leaf clusters, the Meritorious Service Medal, the Joint Service Commendation Medal, and the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal. Matthew is currently living in Herndon, Virginia, where he's married to his wife, Sang, and they have 2 children, Noelle and Danny. He enjoys golfing, attending church, and spending time with family and friends. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great honor to introduce Commander Matthew O'Hara.
Thank you, Dr. Ravenscroft. Appreciate those kind words. Probably a lot kinder than anyone else would say about me. So, I'm humbled here to be here today for the 80th annual J. Edward Kelley Award Ceremony. Honestly, I never envisioned being asked to speak before this crowd. And I was told last night I may be the first or one of the very first Kaiser High School graduates to speak at this ceremony. So, very honored to speak in front of you. So, take me home, country roads. And for those of you who are worried about how long I talk, including my nephew, I promise I'll keep it under 4 hours, okay? But we do have a saying in the military, be brief, be brilliant, and be gone. So I know we went over Ed Kelley's, some of how he grew up a little bit earlier, but I want to kind of highlight a few things that stuck out to me about his life and about the kind of person and man he was. So he was born on April 13th, 1923, and grew up in our very own Kaiser, West Virginia, in what many of us now sitting in this audience would consider a prehistoric time with no sheets and no Walmart. So how could we imagine life before that? So he was the only son of Jonah and Rebecca Kelley and had 2 sisters, Beulah and Georgiana. He loved playing football and basketball. And most importantly, he was a great teammate. He was loved by his teammates. And that's going to be an important theme as I kind of go through my speech here. He was drafted in the U.S. Army in 1943 and served in the 78th Infantry Division, as we know. So, but I do want to say thank you. I know that family members and his fellow soldiers aren't here, but from my personal thing, I would like to say thank you. In less than 2 years, Ed quickly rose to the rank of Staff Sergeant. And so anyone that knows a little bit about the military knows that that's a very fast rise to be promoted. But I'm sure that anyone that knew Ed, that wasn't a surprise for him to be quickly promoted in that time. However, during the fateful campaign in January 1945 in Kesternitz, Germany, he displayed those traits of honor, courage, and commitment. In the thick of battle, heavy battle, bullets flying everywhere, Ed was wounded and lost his left hand. Undeterred, he said, "I'll just use one hand." And he single-handedly shot out and killed the German gunners that were the last lines of defense. And for anyone that knows a little bit about World War II, 1945 was a crucial year, and that point in Germany was one of the last crucial lines for our success in that war. So J. Edward Kelley was a crucial part of winning World War II. So I want to talk a little bit about what it means to be a Medal of Honor winner as well. So every citation reads, "For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity involving risk of life above and beyond the call of duty." So let's break that down for a second. What is gallantry? Gallantry is defined as courageous behavior, especially in battle. Intrepidity, defined as the fact or quality of being resolutely fearless or dauntless. This has been true for 3,536 Medal of Honor winners. Courageous and fearless in the thickest fog of war. Courageous and fearless when barely able to move and writhing in pain. Courageous and fearless when death is an imminent possibility. Courageous and fearless because they believe in the greater good for mankind. And to all our Medal of Honor winners and military heroes, I say thank you. But please know that my gratitude is more immense than this simple phrase, because even though I wore the uniform for 25 years, it pales in comparison to the service of any single Medal of Honor recipient. To this year's candidates, I hope you live the rest of your lives grateful for Ed Kelley's ultimate sacrifice. And I hope you're humbled to be part of this time-honored ceremony, because I know you will remember this for the rest of your lives. To Daniel Bucky Shoemaker, Ian Spiker, and Ashton Meatball Youngblood, know that your community has specifically chosen you not just for your athletic prowess, but for your ability to be a leader amongst your peers in the face of adversity. So I did ask a few things about them, and so I wanted to kind of point out some of the adversity they face and how they've overcome it. So for Bucky, I heard you missed your junior year in football with a broken foot, but you came back even stronger your senior year. Ashton, tearing your ACL and missing out on your favorite sports of football and skiing must have been heartbreaking for you, but here you're on stage with us. And Ian, very sorry to hear about the loss of your father, who I did know. Everyone I've spoken to has been amazed at your ability to rise up and be an inspiration to this Kaiser community. And just remember that Ed Kelley himself threw himself into heavy gunfire multiple times to save his fellow soldiers. He embraced adversity with a fearlessness not common to many. So, since I'm the speaker, I guess I'll tell you a little bit about me too. So I was born in Seoul, Korea, and I was adopted at the age of 2. Many of you know my sisters, Kirsten, also known as Mrs. Denny, and Megan, who lives in Los Angeles. While we were in Korea, we were sent to orphanages with little chance of succeeding in life. You could say that my start in life was perhaps unfair. How could I be put into an orphanage at such a young age? By the grace of God, we were adopted by Frank and Judy O'Hara. Thank you, Mom and Papa, for bringing us here and giving us so many opportunities that we wouldn't have had otherwise. So I would say I grew up in Kaiser, a different time, like I said, prehistoric time. I grew up, many like you, just playing wiffle ball in someone's backyard, collecting rock samples, and kind of exploring a natural curiosity for life itself. I was a pretty good student, especially in math and science, and although it's kind of hard to tell now, I was actually fairly athletic in my younger years as well. I didn't really excel at any sport, but I was athletic enough to be in the mix. So, what does a nerdy but somewhat athletic kid do after high school? At that time, I dreamed of being a rocket scientist, but I also knew that I needed to give back to the America that gave me an opportunity to succeed in life. So I was very fortunate to be admitted to the United States Naval Academy, where I majored in aeronautical engineering and wanted to pursue those dreams. I will say, game changer. The first day I showed up, July 1st, 1998. I come in, and they say, "What's your name?" I said, "Oh, my name's Matt O'Hara." "Well, Matt O'Hara, you can tack a sir onto that from now on." So I said, "Yeah, Matt O'Hara, sir." And they said, "You can start your sentence with a sir, too. So it can be Sir Matt O'Hara, sir." So that was my first introduction to the military. So I learned about the sir and ma'am sandwiches, where every sentence starts and ends with a sir or ma'am. But really, this was just helping us become disciplined young individuals, because at times you never know when you're going to face. And when you're in the heat of battle, you're going to rely upon your training, your instincts, and things that you've developed subconsciously. So for the first time in my life, everyone was as smart or smarter than me. I felt like a minnow in an ocean. There's a saying of, "How do you eat an elephant?" Many people will stare at it for days, intimidated by its vast size, and wondering, how could something so large actually be eaten? However, I took the approach of one bite at a time, knowing that this was a marathon and not a sprint. For the first time in my life, I was up late studying, but I managed to keep pace. I graduated from the Naval Academy and became a helicopter pilot before transferring communities and becoming a communications officer. During my time, I've spent countless nights under the Arabian desert sun or below a Harrier launch pod. Although deployment days are long, the months are short because we always work together as a team. We worked hard and we play hard. I would tell you some stories, but most of them are inappropriate. It wasn't a life meant for everyone, but I am proud to say that I served. And so for anyone here that served in the armed forces, I know we thank you earlier, but I also want to thank you for your service. In addition, service doesn't have to be just solely with the military. So I also want to thank our educators, our public servants, our firefighters, police officers, firefighters, anyone that served for our greater good. I want to say thank you as well. How about a round of applause for everyone? So during my time, I crossed every time zone. I lived on 3 different continents, North America, Europe, and Asia. I met many amazing people and learned so many life lessons. In fact, after moving out of Kaiser, the military was the first time I met other Asian Americans. I was forced to be open-minded about embracing different races, cultures, and diverse backgrounds due to living outside of the US. For example, I lived in Italy, and did you know that chicken parmesan and spaghetti meatballs don't exist in Italy? I never knew that. Did you know that Italians put hot dogs and french fries on their pizza? So, another fun fact that I never knew. In fact, Italians are disgusted at the way Americans eat Italian food, but, it's what we're used to. So I encourage every high school student here, leave Kaiser at least one time. Explore the world. It's okay to come back and settle down, but at least see what the world has to offer. There are many things out there that you will learn. Along my path, I met my beautiful wife, Sang, and we have 2 amazing children, Noel and Danny. After 25 years in naval service and moving 14 times, I retired from active duty and now primarily work as a federal contractor in space operations, enterprise IT, and cybersecurity. For now, at least, we've decided to settle in the Northern Virginia area, which is not too far from here. So I know this speech has been fairly serious to this point, so let's lighten up the mood a little bit. So I found a little bit about everyone's routine or superstition, So, Meatball only washes his jersey after losing. So I hope you triple wash your uniform after the Frankfurt game last year. So fun fact, Meatball and I share a love for ramen noodles. So all right, Ian. Ian eats 2 no-bake cookies before every basketball game, which is also equal to the number of rebounds plus assists he averages per game. I also hear that Ian passionately follows the Los Angeles Dodgers and was very ecstatic after last year's World Series. Fun fact, Ian and I also share a love for boba tea. And so Bucky prayed before every football game and wrestling match. Seemed that worked really well for him until he faced a nationally ranked wrestler and lost. So, fun fact, Bucky and I both were on the cage wrestling team with Colin/Coach Rochuk. So as I reflect on my experiences, I'd like to share with you my 3 tenets of leadership. And this is as Matt O'Hara. This is nobody else. This is me. So first, be a servant leader. Remove the obstacles that block your team's path to success. Trust them to do great work while also holding them accountable for their duties. Number 2, be a transparent leader. Nobody likes it when you hold on to information just to make yourself look better. Be transparent to the maximum extent possible and always be someone that is trustworthy and reliable. Number 3, be a process-driven leader. I personally believe that consistently repeatable processes produce consistently repeatable results. This requires practice and hard work. Tiger Woods knows exactly how to shape a golf shot through repeating a swing motion over and over again. Steph Curry drains 91% of his free throws by employing the same routine each time. Put yourself in a better position to take advantage of lucky breaks, and you will get luckier. Also, know that in life, and I repeat, life will not be fair. No matter what you hear, nobody lives a perfect life. There'll always be someone wealthier than you, someone more athletic than you, someone smarter than you. I may be biased, but I kind of think that nerds rule the world. Mankind will always make more money with their brains than their bodies. Even the wealthiest athletes are not wealthy from their athletic feats, but from smartly pursuing business. Who would have thought that Michael Jordan would transcend professional sports through a pair of shoes? Remember that life will constantly throw adversity at you. You can't change how it happened to you, but you can reflect on the lessons learned. Learn to be honest with yourself, and that can be a really difficult one. Look in the mirror and truly think, am I being honest with myself and how people look at me and how I'm perceiving this situation? Work on improving your flaws. And no matter how hard you fall, pick yourself up and be courageous in the moment, just like Ed Kelley was. Also along the way, life will also enrich you with some really amazing moments. Finding true love, the birth of your children, passing your final exam. The list goes on and on. Enjoy those moments. Savor those times. I once heard on the radio that gratitude is the cheat code to life. And that rang so true to my ears. Once again, gratitude is the cheat code to life. So in the interest of time, I want to say thank you for your time and thank you for the honor of speaking to you today.
Representing Moose Lodge 662 to present the award, Miss Tina Stevens.
Thank you, Dr. Ravenscroft. Good morning. It is indeed a great honor for me to be here representing the Kaiser Moose Lodge 662 and the lodge officers and members, and also being the first female president of the lodge. We know this award was started in 1946 by the Kaiser Moose Lodge and has continued every year since. On behalf of the Moose Lodge, the officers and members, we would like to extend a congratulations to the 3 nominees and their families. Each young man will receive a watch that has a soldier with a lightning bolt through it. Now the reason we're here. Would all 3 nominees please stand? The winner for the 80th Jonah Edward Kelley is seal it. Mr. Daniel Shoemaker. Yes, sir. Congratulations.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to take a moment and congratulate my fellow nominees, Ian Spiker and Ashton Youngblood. It is an honor to be recognized as having similar qualities as Jonah Edward Kelley. I would like to thank everyone in attendance today, including Superintendent Troy Ravenscroft, Mineral County Board of Education, our speaker, Commander Matthew O'Hara, Kaiser Moose Lodge 662, the American Legion Boyce Hauser Post 41, the Ed Kelley Society, Dr. Wallace, Principal Dr. Ravenscroft, Vice Principals Ms. Dupuy and Mr. Oppelman, staff and student of Kaiser High School and Mineral County Technical Center, and all other distinguished guests, for being here to honor and celebrate the life of a very courageous World War II veteran, Jonah Edward Kelley. Staff Sergeant Ed Kelley was known for his heroic actions and leadership amongst enemy lines. He was an example of great and fearless leader who died protecting each and every one of us. Not only did Ed Kelley lose his life that day, but several other members of the 311th Infantry Regiment of the 78th Lightning Division. This squadron was an example of what true teamwork is all about. A quote that has been instilled in me is Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verses 9 and 10. 2 are better than 1, because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up, but pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. This lesson is instrumental in today's military and everyday life, and on that momentous day for Ed Kelley. I'd like to encourage my current classmates as well as upcoming students to keep this in mind. Today, I would like to not only thank but recognize Coach Roachruck. Thank you for helping me find a passion for a sport that takes a tremendous amount of work and time, but is also most rewarding in the end. And most of all, for your investment in not only me, but our teammates. Coach Stevens, for constantly pushing me on and off the field to be my best, win or lose. Thank you to all Mineral County School Board employees, from the custodians to the superintendent, because without everyone's efforts, no student would have the opportunity to be successful. And last but not least, I would like to thank all my family for the many individual contributions they put forth in my life. I wouldn't be where I am today without your outpouring of support and love. Thank you all for your time, and I appreciate this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity I've been given. May God bless you all, and God bless America.
Mr. Ian Spiker.
Good morning. I can now express how honored I am to be nominated for this prestigious Jonah Edward Kelley Award, alongside Ashton and Bucky. Congratulations to you both. You exemplify the characteristics Jonah Edward Kelley showcased. You both are natural-born leaders and have fought through injuries and adversity. I also owe my life to the Youngbloods twice. I would like to recognize all current and former service members and their families, the 78th Lightning Division and their families, the Kaiser Moose Lodge 662, the American Legion Boyce Hauser Post 41, the Kelley Society, our guest speaker, retired Commander Matthew O'Hara, Dr. Wallace, and Kaiser High School, and Superintendent Ravenscroft, the Monroe County Board of Education, Principal Dr. Ravenscroft, Vice Principals Ms. Droppelman and Ms. Dupuy, the staff and students of Kaiser High School, the Monroe County Technical Center, Ms. Rotruck, and all other distinguished guests. Without this list of people, Jonah Edward Kelley's legacy would not continue at Kaiser High School. We are here to honor the life and character of Jonah Edward Kelley. He excelled in athletics and academics while attending Kaiser High School and was an all-around noble person. The words that come to mind when describing Ed Kelley are courageous and honorable. He died a violent death saving the 78th Lightning Division in World War II, resulting in him being the only person from Kaiser High School to receive the Congressional Medal of Honor. His actions always spoke louder than words. Ed Kelley displayed leadership, bravery, and confidence. He made sure he protected his men from taking unnecessary risks. We should all strive to be like Jonah Edward Kelley. He did not voluntarily enlist in the military. He was drafted, but that never hindered his perseverance. General Eisenhower confirmed Ed Kelley's heroism single-handedly shortened the war in Germany by several months. Now I would like to take time to thank the ones that led me to this stage. Coach Fury, thank you for pushing me on and off the court to be better and never give up. You are a true inspiration and a role model. Coach Rotruck, although you haven't coached me since 7th grade during football, you left a lasting impact on my life, and your unwavering support means more to me than you know. And thank you for allowing the group of us to come to your house on Sundays. Ms. Stevens, thank you for convincing me to take your Fundamentals of Education course. You're the reason I want to be an educator. Chase, you were there for me in my hardest time and continue to show up. I am forever grateful for you. My grandparents, thank you for always supporting me and being my biggest fans. Mom, you have been my loudest cheerleader. Believe me, I heard you. We went through the toughest and most trying time of our lives together, and you continue to be my rock. Your strength is admirable. Last but not least, Dad, you are the true definition of what a father is supposed to be. You pushed me to always be better and knew if I was being lazy. You were taken way too soon, but I know you're watching out for Mom and I, and I'll always keep your legacy alive. Peers and community members, I challenge you to strive to be like Jonah Edward Kelley, led by example. Let your actions speak louder than words. Show bravery and stand up for what you believe in. Chase your dreams no matter how out of reach they may seem. Be an honorable and noble friend. I'll leave you with this. Proverbs 27, verse 17. As iron sharpens iron, so a friend sharpens a friend. Thank you, and God bless.
Mr. Ashton Youngblood.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to first start off with how big of an honor it is to be a nominee for such a prestigious award. To be able to represent a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient is such a huge honor. There are no other men whom I would rather share this stage with than my fellow peers, Daniel Shoemaker and Ian Spiker. We've all been great friends all throughout high school, and I wish you two the best of luck in your future and whatever it may hold. Congratulations to you two. Now I'd like to thank some people that make this award possible every year. Superintendent Ravenscroft, Monroe County Board of Education, retired Commander Matthew O'Hara, Kaiser Moose Lodge number 662, American Legion Boys Hauser Post 41, the Ed Kelley Society, Dr. Wallace, Principal Dr. Ravenscroft, both assistant principals Mr. Appelman and Miss Dupuy, Miss Road Truck, and all staff and students of Mineral County Technical Center and Kaiser High School, and all other distinguished guests. Without these people, this program would not be possible every year. I would also like to thank all 78th Lightning Division members, active military, and veterans for sacrificing your lives every day to ensure that we get to keep our freedom. The real reason we are here today, though, is not to talk about me or my fellow nominees. It is to honor Jonah Edward Kelley. Growing up, he was a leader that would excel in everything he did. He led the 78th Lightning Division in a 2-day fierce fight from house to house at the Battle of Kesternich. Ed Kelley made the ultimate sacrifice during war. With one arm rendered completely useless, he rushed into battle, destroying 5 enemies. Then, with his last ounce of strength, he pulled the pin on his grenade with his teeth and ended the Battle of Kesternich. He single-handedly shortened the war by months. These heroic actions earned Ed Kelley the Congressional Medal of Honor. We should all strive to be like Ed Kelley. Now I'd like to thank some people that have helped me out along the way. Miss Stevens, you've always been there for me when I needed it, making sure I always kept a positive attitude in every situation. Without you, I would still be eating dino nuggets. I appreciate everything you've done for me. Thank you. Miss Umstott, you have helped strengthen my work ethic by always pushing me to work until the bell every day and striving to do my best. Also, without you, this speech would sound like a 4th grader wrote it. Thank you. Football. Thank you to my coaches and teammates. Football taught me many life lessons, teamwork, leadership, and accountability. The biggest lesson that I learned is how to respond to adversity and to never dwell in the past. You must always move forward. This sport shaped me into the man I am today. There is nothing I will miss more in high school than those Friday night lights. I will forever cherish the memories that I made along the way with my family of brothers and coaches. I wouldn't trade these memories for the world. Track and basketball. While I only played these sports for 1 year, both of them showed me how to have fun. Every day I got to make some great friendships with unforgettable memories. I'm grateful for all these opportunities that were presented to me along the way and all the lessons that came with them. My good friends, Jake, Michael, and Matthew. Thank you for all the great times and unforgettable memories we have made throughout high school. I hope that we never grow apart and will always continue to be friends. I wish you all the best in your future and whatever it may hold. I love you all. Pap, you've always been there for me when I needed you. You showed me your wisdom ever since I was a little boy to the man I am today. You've always been one of my biggest supporters in everything I do. I appreciate everything you've done for me. Also, big thank you for the Corvette for prom, even if I do break it all the time. Grandma, or as I like to say, Ninny. You've always been there for me when I needed you. This year, you helped me grow a stronger relationship with God and taught me how to hold myself more accountable. I will always be there for you as you are for me. I don't say this enough. I love you, Ninny. I guess I have to talk about my brother Caden now. In all seriousness, though, we have grown way closer than I ever imagined we would. Growing up with such a role model older brother has helped me more than you could ever imagine. I truly appreciate everything you do for me. I love you, but I bet you forgot I get the last word on this stage. I will forever be the better skier. Mom, you are always the first person who I would call for advice or just talk to somebody. You've helped me through rough times in my life, and I know that moving forward you will always be there for me whenever I need you. You encourage me to reach for the stars and never settle. I love you. If there was one thing, Dad, you are my biggest role model in life. You've put in countless hours at work to provide for our family. You will forever be my favorite coach and mentor. We have a lot of great memories together and good times. I love you. If there was one thing I could change about today, it would be for my pap to be in this audience. He wanted to live to see me and my brother graduate, but was unable to. I hope that I make you proud in everything I do. I miss you more and more every day. I love you, Pap. Last but certainly not least, I would like to give all glory to God. I am thankful for the opportunities and blessings He presents me every day in life. None of this would be possible without our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I would like to now say truly what an honor it was to be up for this prestigious award. I would now like to end by leaving you all with a challenge, one that I'm going to accept as well. This challenge is to be kind to everyone and be the reason someone smiles. This is a lesson that I continue to learn every Sunday at church, and one that I believe has had a positive impact on my life and the people around me. Always surround yourself with positive people, people who make you smile. Thank you all, and God bless.
And now to present the scholarships, the president of the J. Edward Kelley Society, Mr. Ryan Streets.
Good morning. Before I get started, I'd like to ask Miss Carrie Rotruck if she'd step out behind the curtain. I know she's probably going to hate me for this, but can we just give her a round of applause for all the hard work she does? It is a great honor to stand before you today to present the Jonah Edward Kelley Scholarship, an award that holds incredible significance, not only for its value, but for what it represents: dedication, community, and the spirit of service. This year marks the 80th anniversary of the scholarship, and I am truly humbled to be a part of this special occasion. As I stand here this morning, I can't help but reflect on the journey that has brought us all to this moment. 10 years ago, I sat in these very seats, feeling the same nerves. I was pretty nervous sitting over there too. The same anticipation and wondering what it would be like to be standing here speaking about this award. Today I'm fortunate enough to have the privilege of presenting it to three well-deserving young men. But before we celebrate their accomplishments, let's take a moment to reflect on the history of the scholarship and the legacy behind it. The money for this scholarship comes from the J. Edward Kelley Memorial Trust, which has a rich history. The 78th Lightning Division created the 78th Division Veterans Association Trust Fund. They then gifted their trust fund to the Ed Kelley Society, thus creating the J. Edward Kelley Memorial Trust Fund. This transition reflects the lasting commitment to honoring Jonah Edward Kelley, a man of extraordinary character and bravery. His service to this country and to his community inspired this incredible gesture. And it is thanks to them for their unwavering support that we continue to offer the scholarship year after year. Now, let's talk about these three young men. Daniel, Ian, and Ashton. Since 1977, all three nominees have elected to share the scholarship despite the winner. I am happy to report that Daniel, Ian, and Ashton have chosen to share the scholarship equally, recognizing the value of teamwork, community, and mutual support over competition. This speaks volumes about their character and maturity, and it's a beautiful reflection of the values we honor in this scholarship. Each of these young men embody the qualities that Ed Kelley lived by: service, leadership, and the drive to make a positive impact. They have shown excellence not only in their academic pursuits and athletic achievements, but also in their commitment to their community. As we celebrate the 80th year of this award, we are reminded of its legacy, the strength of individuals who came before us, those who gave selflessly to make a difference, and the ones who continue to inspire those who follow. Daniel, Ian, and Ashton are proof of that legacy. So as we honor you this morning, we're not just celebrating your accomplishments, but we're also celebrating the individuals you are, people who understand the value of community and support. You represent the very best of what the scholarship stands for, and I'm confident that you will continue to do great things in your future. Thank you to everyone who has made this ceremony possible, and to the 78th Lightning Division for their lasting support of this scholarship. Here's to the next 80 years of honoring Jonah Edward Kelley's memory and inspiring future generations to carry on his legacy. As I call your name, please step forward and receive your plaque and scholarship. Daniel Shoemaker. You can have a seat. Ian Spiker. And Ashton Youngblood. Thank you all, and God bless.
As we close, I'd like to remind our students to remain seated until told to leave by a staff member. We'd like to thank our veterans, Commander O'Hara, American Legion Post 41, Loyal Order of the Moose, Kelley Society, KHS secretaries, Mrs. Guy and Miss Willison, Miss Rotruck, Miss Son from the Mineral County Technical Center, Miss Hebner in the KHS journalism and yearbook classes, Mrs. Stephen in KHS food and nutrition class, Mr. Fury for running sound, Mr. Perano for the live stream, and the stage crew of Kaiser High School who make this possible. Thank you all for attending and have a good day.
Thank you.